Here's how we got James and his family money for their property, even though on the day of closing, he had a stroke. I'm also going to tell you what to do if you're falling behind on your mortgage payments, what options you have, and how to get out of that. Let's get started. All right, y'all, if you just inherited a home, if you have a fixer-upper, if you have a house you don't know what to do with, send it our way. We would love to give you a cash offer. So when it comes to business and real estate and helping people in their situations, I'll describe myself as a very aggressive person, to the point where people are like, man, I cannot believe you did that. And you're going to see that in this story. The reason for that is because the average person only has $1,000 in their bank account in the United States. So when they come to us and they inherit a home, or they're going through foreclosure, or they're moving and they have to sell their home, they have to sell their home. So when they run into title issues, right, it's our job to motivate them and help them get to the finish line. Because if we don't, they're going to be fresh out of luck. So the story with James, everything was going smoothly. We knew he was sick, and that's one of the reasons his wife and family wanted to sell the property they inherited, so that if anything happened to James, at least they had a little lump sum of money from the sale of the property. So the day of closing, guys, James had a stroke. Okay, so that's crazy. I feel like most investors, if a seller had a stroke, they probably would have backed off and gave the family space. And that's what we did. I mean, I gave them a little space. I said, hey, Mrs. James, I know your husband is going through a stroke. I know that you guys are going through a hard time right now, but if we don't get this done, then you guys might lose out on the property. So James was able to get stabilized. We got the doctor's permission, and we were able to go in there and sign the agreement so we could transfer the money to their account. So what do you guys think? Was I too aggressive in that situation? So if you are falling behind on your mortgage payments, here's what you need to do immediately. The first thing you need to do is call your lender. They're going to have options for you. Okay, you guys need to understand that. It might be embarrassing, okay, but you need to call your lender. Another thing I recommend that you do is, I know it's embarrassing because, okay, if you bought a house, you had money at some point, you don't want your friends and family to know you're struggling. But in my opinion, I think you should tell your family and friends. You don't know, maybe you have an uncle or aunt who can lend the money to you, or at least make your payments for you for a little bit. Okay, why not? You're gonna lose the house anyway if you're super struggling with the payment. So do what you can to get out of that situation. If you don't want your friends and family to know, get a side hustle. Okay, if your wife doesn't work and maybe you're the breadwinner, say, hey wife, maybe you gotta work a little bit. Okay, do what you can to not get a foreclosure on the house. If your property is in decent condition, maybe rent it out and maybe move in with family, so at least somebody is making that monthly payment. If you have a family member that needs a place to stay, maybe you can have them move in and be a roommate, pay some of the mortgage for you. If your house is not in terrible condition, maybe put a room on Airbnb. I know it's creepy. You probably don't want the type of person that needs a room to stay in temporarily, but the other type of people that need a room temporarily is, let's say, maybe a student. See if you can get a student to stay with you. They're generally not perceived as being creepy. But whatever you do, save yourself from foreclosure. Don't be embarrassed. If you want a cash offer from us, we would be happy to do that. Okay? The reason you don't want to get a foreclosure on your property is because it's going to affect your credit up to 7 years. You're not going to be able to get another mortgage for a while, and you might not even be able to rent out a place. Okay, so not only did you lose your house, now you don't have a place to stay, or you're going to have to pay high fees to get second chance housing. All right, y'all, I hope this video helped you. Please share, please subscribe. Looking forward to seeing you on the next video.